Hey guys, Peter here to tell you about the latest from Bloodbound, Field of Swords, out November 21st on Napalm Records. The album has 11 tracks, 44 minutes in length, and this is the band's 11th full-length studio album. They are a Swedish power metal band. Now, considering that this record is a concept album, an album definitely driven by its themes, the overall structure of the record doesn't feel completely connected with the theme or with the overall concept of the album. At least it's not driven by it. One is not tied up to the other in order for the two of them to force the listener down a very specific path. The album is very versatile from that standpoint. It allows room to maneuver. It's a record that has its own playability, and the playability is more tied into the individual songs and how those can capture the imagination of the listener, not necessarily with the overall format that guides you from first all the way to last. As far as the sound is concerned, this is at times a very old school sounding power metal record. It has a lot of focus on guitars and drums as the two main pillars of the sound, and allows them to be sung in and sung out the drivers of the experience. This is definitely an album that pays attention to that more classic power metal side and puts the focus on the right elements and allows them to be the catalysts on every single song. I like that aspect of the record a lot because it gives it a great foundation. It gives the album a great starting point. Then on the other hand, they were able to add symphonic elements that on this album don't turn the record into a symphonic power metal album, but it turned the record into an epic power metal album. This record, when you match the sound, when you match the impact of the symphonic elements and the lyrics all together, it's really an epic sounding record filled with anthems. That is the overall approach that the album offers. I like this approach because I like the focus to be on the guitars. I like power in my power metal, so I like to see the guitars really playing the main protagonist role in the sound and in the overall soundscape of a record like this. And I honestly really enjoy the symphonic elements being there to create size, to create epicness, to create a fantasy soundtrack to the fantasy world that's being put forward. And I also like the way they fill in the sound, making the songs feel more robust, more complete, more textured, and definitely a lot richer. Now, once you get into the vocal performance, it is a very consistent vocal performance top to bottom. Not that I was expecting anything else. The only, not surprise, but the only subtle element within the vocals is that the vocals, for me at least on this record, felt very narrator-like in terms of how you tell a story and how you connect to that story. So it felt more connected to the lyrical content in the way that it presents it, or in a way that makes the presentation of that same lyrical content extremely important, so that the listener can connect with the individual songs, not just on a sonic basis, but also on a lyrical, on a theme, on a storytelling aspect. So the vocal performance on this album, while still bringing the essence of Bloodbound, still over the top at times with great power metal influences in it, it definitely feels a little bit more connected with a more focus and with a bigger purpose on telling stories and being able to get that message across. Now, when you see all of these pieces coming together, you're end up with a very epic power metal, consistent album top to bottom. It's not an album that becomes a little bit less concise at the end, or that it has bigger songs at the beginning. It's not a lopsided record like that. It's an album that stays on path, on par from the first all the way to the last song. Consistency is really key as far as what you're gonna get out of this record, sung in and sung out. As far as my favorite songs on this album are concerned, I want to start off with As Empire Falls. Very epic song, both musically, vocally, but even from a lyrical standpoint, it's a song that plays into that epic realm sort of world. The chorus is amazing. It really opens up. It gives the track its trademark moment, as it should. The verses are a lot more driven, a lot heavier, with the drums really helping the guitars create that sense of heaviness, and the keys, the symphonic elements, once again coming in to add to the overall epicness of the track, to add texture, add richness, making the song feel a little bit more fuller, a little bit more complete. And then when you get to that chorus, everything just opens up. It has a great solo as well. This is an album that has great guitar playing top to bottom, so this song really emphasizes that great guitar playing, not just in the melodies and riffs, but also in the way the solo impacts the track. Then you have a song called Forged in Iron. This is definitely one of the more epic songs on the record from start to finish. It just has this epic nature to it, really allowing the symphonic elements of the track to add to that epic experience. One of the songs that comes close to being an epic symphonic power metal song. I don't think there's any song on this record that goes that far. This one comes close, but it still stays very consistent, with the guitars playing still a very important role, the drums playing a very important role in terms of making the sound robust, making the sound thick, giving it some heaviness, and then you have the vocals coming in very consistent with great layers, great backing vocals on this track, specifically when it comes to the chorus, really creating an epic anthem vibe as far as the way the chorus gets delivered. Last but not least, Pain and Glory, another super driven song, very pedal to the metal style track, great guitar sound. The drums really help push those guitars forward. The overall soundscape is really complemented well by the symphonic aspects, by the keys. The keys really do a wonderful job complementing the experience, and it's a track that brings in some folk elements as far as melodies are concerned. That changes the paradigm of the song, that makes the song unique in its own way, while still following a lot of similarities as far as structure, sounds, and how sounds balance off one another. The fact that this track has more of an epic folk melody to it definitely sets itself apart, still playing extremely well into that overall fantasy world that this album creates. So it's a track that's on par with the rest of the songs, but it's becoming a little bit of a unicorn within the context of the record because of that folkiness, because of those folky influences in the melodies. This is it, Bloodbound with Field of Swords, out November 21st on Napalm Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Hit me up in the comment section, and I'll see you all at the next video. Take care, guys.